Hey, Norman with iSaveTractors.com. Welcome to part 2 of our Simplicity Powermax 4040 Tractor Project. We've got a lot to do, so check it out. Here we go. We begin today by removing the Pto shaft that connects the engine to the rear PTO on this tractor. This PTO is held onto this rear clutch hub with 4 bolts that I'm removing. It's also supported in the center of the shaft with a bearing that's attached to the tractor frame. There it is. In order to get this off, I have to remove the little bracket, slide it forward, and then the entire shaft will come out. Now this is what the PTO shaft looks like. Back here, this is the electric clutch that engages and disengages the shaft from the rear PTO assembly. That's just held on there with a bolt. If you look at the end of this PTO shaft, that big kind of piece there, it's actually welded together, so there's no removing that. Now to get this, these right here, I believe are the field coils for the electric clutch. In order to get that off, there's just held on with 4 little Allen screws. Pull those off, that will come off, and then all I'm left with is that center bearing. Now, for those of you who have Simplicity Powermaxes, you'll notice that this PTO shaft is very different than the Powermax PTO shafts from the 4041 and the 9020s, as well as the Alice Chalmers 620s and 616s and 720s. I believe that's because the tractor I'm working on is one of the earliest model Powermaxes, and this is how it had it set up. I have another Simplicity 4041 with the 20 horsepower Onan engine, and it has a very different PTO shaft setup. Now that center bearing I could not get off of this shaft, so I decided to just cut it off. I have to take it to a machinist anyways to fix that keyway in the front from part 1. And I'm just going to have them fix this part of the shaft too if I cut too deep, but I typically don't. I've done this many times. I usually will just scratch the shaft and I can clean that up no problem. And here is the bare naked PTO shaft. I decided to keep the bearing at the very end on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see there, that bearing checked out good. It's still smooth, tight, rolls nicely, so I kept that on. Here's the end of the PTO shaft that we've got to take to a machine shop to get it fixed. So come along with me and enjoy this beautiful country Maine drive to the machine shop. I love going to that machine shop. Those guys are great guys. I love watching those guys use their metalworking machines to build things from scratch. It's really cool. I also love the smell of a machine shop. It's probably not very healthy, but I love it anyways. Now that the shaft is being fixed by the machine shop, let's get back to the Powermax project here in our shop. There we go. That little voice that you hear in the background is my second oldest son, Lucas. He's 8 years old, and he loves helping me in the shop work on these projects. Sometimes he touches all my tools and runs off with them, so you might hear me tell him to stop and put it down several times. It's all part of the fun. I'm removing this light bulb.
So he's removing this light bulb. What's that black thing for?
That's a wire. That's a power wire.
And why are you doing this?
Because I'm getting it ready for paint.
You know, I feel like you have like 100 zillion lights. You're a good worker. So this thing powers the light, my dad said.
That's right.
And my dad's name is Norman.
That's right.
And if you want, this is that.
But if you need to like talk to us about for the stuff on sale, yeah, you could like get that stuff and come here. That's much the only thing. Or tell us, or call us, and if we have the parts, you can come over to our area, and you know. And
Just tell them our website.
what's our website? Oh, and our website's iSaveTractors.com.
That's right. Good job, buddy. Done?
And now we're gonna be doing like that paint thing.
Here I am using my angle grinder and a polycarbide abrasive wheel to remove the paint from this fender. I'm doing something a little different this time. I'm not going to remove paint from the entire fender. I'm just going to remove it from the parts that your eye sees the most, which is pretty much the side where the decal would go, where I'm working on now, and the top of it. The rest of the fender, I'm just going to lightly sand with sandpaper to remove all the rough edges, and I'm going to paint over it. And I think it's still going to come out really, really great, and it kind of saves me a little bit of time on this project too. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this part 2 to our Simplicity 4040 Powermax Tractor Project. If you need any parts for your vintage, old, small engines and small tractors, such as this Simplicity 4040, please look no further than iSaveTractors.com. We are the leading developers of aftermarket parts for your old Kohler K-Series engines, Magnum engines, KT twin engines, Tecumseh, Briggs & Stratton, and Onan. Once again, my name is Norman. Thanks for watching.